passionate about Cleveland sports.
He's going in! Touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
Swinging it right! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Watson.
Hey, what's up? Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson, and
Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns got exactly what we knew was coming for them with the Chiefs this Sunday. I can say off the bat that one thing that I was happy to see and the one thing that I was looking for in this game was an improved Cleveland Browns offense. The second thing I was worried about were injuries, and we had some of that stuff pop up throughout the game, but we'll get into it as we go on. Andy, I never expected them to have a chance in this game. I think I put my pregame prediction at a 45-21 loss.
Yep.
I wasn't that far off, and you can tell that the Chiefs' offense is as legit as they come, and the only concern will be, can their defense be good enough to win a Super Bowl at this point? I don't know come playoff time that that's going to be the case. It's neither here nor there, but wow, that offense is something that I haven't seen in a long time, and for a kid like Mahomes to just sling it like he does.
Special.
I don't know. And he spreads the ball around. I mean, Baker does too, but he spreads the ball around. He spreads the love, and a couple of Cleveland natives got plenty of love. Not from the dog pound when they get in the end zone, but
they did. I mean,
oh, man.
Typical Cleveland fashion, the players come back who are hometown kids and splash big time. And part of you does feel for a Hunt or a Kelsey. That's got to mean a lot for them to play well at the stadium. So you hate to really, to your points, I felt the same way. It's hard to get angry at the Chiefs because they're so smooth, they're so good. I guess to take it off, watching, we'll get to this later, what Bama did, knowing what the Warriors are, those are teams where you just know they're in control of not just themselves, but the whole league or the whole football playoff, right? In the case of the NFL, it's great. You have KC, you got the Rams, you got the Saints, and you got the Pats.
Right. Now,
the Browns aren't in there, but there's 4 teams who are very good. I mean, really good, and KC's one of them. And that's why a couple of weeks ago, we were both talking about it. I just never saw this going any differently than what I saw.
You're playing catch-up from kickoff with that team
it's
offensively.
Hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's just hard. It reminds me of when the Browns used to play the Niners. And I just want to say this, too, is this will be happening tonight, so we're going to really organic this to the 9 here. The Cavs are playing right now, so we're going to go back and forth on this. The Cavs are down 2 right now with about 4 minutes left to go in the third. So as I look over, I'm peering over, I'm watching the Cavs game. So I just want everybody to know I'm paying attention as I'm doing. I can multitask better than anybody. I got 3 kids. I can multitask anything. So I just want to make that aware as I am keeping my eye on it. All right, back to this game. So the Chiefs are very good. Okay. That said, there is a part of me who said, well, I love this Chiefs offense, and I totally get it, but I love the Browns, and I don't understand why the Browns defense didn't play better. The Browns defense, it's one thing to get, hey, you play like the Giants a few years ago against the Pats on that regular season game. Of course, they eventually won the Super Bowl. But again, there's moments where it's like, hey, they're putting out and they're trying. I'm not saying there wasn't trying or effort, but there was little competition to none competition in this game.
Absolutely.
There's a few tense third downs, and when I say tense, I mean 2 of them probably, maybe 3. It was just one of those games where you said it, as soon as the kickoff happened, the game was off and running for that offense. And the defense has got to do a better job. I'm not saying you have to win this game. I'm not saying you have to stop them. I'm not saying you have to keep it under 30. But you cannot do what they did. It was bad. There's been a lot of people picked on today. We will get to that here in a little bit. But it was bad. And to your overall point, Hunt and Kelsey and Mahomes is not from Cleveland. Those 3 really dominated the game.
When I first messaged you after the first possession and then they had the ball, and I believe that first possession, Cleveland looked like they were putting together a decent little drive. It sputtered, and then we were like, oh, that's great. They pinned them inside. I think it was at the 3 or the 4 yard line. I'm like, well, good. Now this is good. Now we get to watch a painful 96-yard drive, and sure enough, we watched a painful 96-yard drive. And the thing is, maybe I'm more forgiving on Cleveland's defense right now, but at this point, I'm forgiving. I just don't think that I don't know who some of these guys are. I don't know. We've talked about it. I don't know who the hell Denzel Rice is. I know Denzel Ward is. I don't know who Denzel Rice is. All of a sudden, he gets an interception before the half. I don't even know who that guy is. I mean, when we're relying on Denzel Rice, somebody, practice squad quality, what do we? And that's not well, I don't want to hurt your. No, I'm not trying to pick on you, Denzel. But man, what are we doing? I mean, how can we have expectations other than what we've got?
No, we're not. Again, expectations are not winning right now. And by the way, that's what this whole thing bothers me too. The expectations of winning left in that Carlos Hyde trade. That bothers me to win. Bothers me to win. But they waved the white flag and it's done. Okay, fine. But you got to be competitive. In college, I'm on your path. I'm not in the pros. You have to play somewhat better. I'm not saying you have to win. Again, I'm not saying you have to slow them down. I'm just saying you have to make plays here and there before the fourth quarter when the Chiefs just basically don't care anymore. And that was one of those games. And I'll tell you, it's an indictment against Greg Williams. It's an indictment against that defense. It's not a damning loss. It's not a shocking loss. But, Jared, I guess the thing is that maybe I'm more fired up is you got to have something more than what we saw for the first 3 quarters. Well, I mean, you got to have something.
Bruce Arians said it, and I agree with this part, that the biggest issue that I saw on Browns defense in that game was just the flailing arm tackles that didn't end up in tackles. It was just nothing but flailing and missing and guys gashing us, and it was insane.
Tackling
and it just got worse as the game went on. It got worse.
Tackling was poor. It's funny. This is the first game I don't remember penalties as much, but I'll remember poor tackling. Yeah. And that's the first time all year I've seen that. That has been a trend. That has been a trend in the last 2 years, especially in 2016 for some reason. I just remember the tackling in 2016 was horrific.
Yep.
This year, though, I have not seen it. It showed its ugly head on Sunday. And again, I don't want to go too far down this road because mentally it's draining when you see into the next big point. Ward, Gaines, basically in almost very close to each other, both pretty much coming out of the game at the same time.
Yeah, no Randall.
And then you add a Kirksey, which again he's not the greatest player, but my gosh, now you're down Kirksey and Schober.
And Kirksey was struggling a little bit during the game, anyways. He didn't have a great game.
He had a rough day. I'll be honest with you. I guess we should do this first. Let's go back to the injuries. The only guy I thought who played okay was Myles Garrett. I don't think he played good. I thought he played okay.
He held his own.
Again, he played okay.
He got another sack. He got credited. Did he get a full or a half? I don't even remember.
He got a full. I'm on this team until I see something very different from consecutive games. He's a good player. He's not great. He's just not a great player. Not elite. Sorry.
Well, is this Chiefs? I mean, we talk about how good they are, right? Offensively, but is this one? Is it because of the system? Or is it because of the players? And then 2, is it gonna last? Are people gonna catch on either by come playoff time or by next season?
The Chiefs,
it is just. I mean, you don't see things. You don't see an offense blow up this big and then sustain it.
They're pretty hot though. I mean, they're pretty. It reminds me of the Niners. Reminds me of the '80s and the early '90s. It reminds me of the greatest show on turf. It reminds me of the Packers with Rodgers 2 or 3 years ago, where they were really humming, and really the only thing that stopped them was a terrible collapse against Seattle. I mean, those are the things that kind of come to mind immediately with these offenses, and the Chiefs are there. And honestly, I think the Rams. That's why that Chiefs-Rams game is so special in 2 weeks. I think the Rams are right there too, but I don't want to glow anymore about the Chiefs. I'm a Browns fan, but it was wonderful to watch. I'll tell you, Kirksey, Ward, Gaines, those injuries all hurt. They really added up quickly in this game.
And Randall had a strange scratch, too. There was a little bit of speculation that there was an issue with him, and then they finally said, no, he was hurt. Greg Williams is a guy who usually wants guys out there, and Randall, I thought that he practiced all week, right? Or he didn't practice all week.
And I don't know if he did or didn't, but I'll just say, This team, and we've seen this before, and we're seeing it again. This team is going to go through. I just will warn for people who forget, because I think you're going to start seeing it every week. Strange things. Players not showing up. Players do show up, and you're going to see all that now. It all comes into play once the season's been gassed, and the season's been gassed now. I mean, there's really little hope for 18. There's a lot of hope for 19, and that's the big positive. But for 18, there's really null and void. I mean, there's really nothing
let's
to look for.
let's at least talk about some of the bright spots. And
yeah, there were some bright spots in this game.
The offense was a brightish spot. It was good. The play of Baker Mayfield. Although I will say there are some very specific things I had issue with. Bad interception at the end of the game. Not that it mattered. Terrible interception.
Terrible. Mayfield's having some issues that I think are two things. When you saw it from Kaiser and you saw it from Kessler, it bothered you because you knew there wasn't much. You knew they weren't elevating the team above, and you knew that they were probably throwing passes that there were some of their better passes. The case of Baker Mayfield, I just know by some of these passes right now, he looks tired mentally, and he's playing like a rookie quarterback.
Well, the ball kind of sails on him. It happened twice during that game.
It is. Yeah. Like Manning did that as a rookie. Aikman did as a rookie. And I'm not just saying that. I saw those things. So to see that from someone like Baker Mayfield, I agree. I'm just not concerned, but I will say I'm taking notes.
Correct.
That makes sense?
Exactly. I'm not trying to pick on him because at the end of the day, the kid played a hell of a game, and let's be real about this. And every other quarterback that's walked onto the field for the Cleveland Browns since '99, the weight of the world is on their shoulders. The weight of that city is on their shoulders, and they know it. And it's not an easy. And some have come in thinking they were going to change everything. Baker's no different from any of the last 35, 40, 50, however many frickin' quarterbacks we've had since '99. I'm not keeping track. I'm not the one looking at that awful jersey with all the names. But
what is your thought on that jersey, real quick? Not to get too sidetracked.
I don't like it. I don't like focusing on that.
I think it's a weird thing too. I don't understand it at all. I've never really got that.
I'm over the whole self-deprecating Cleveland stuff. It made sense for a while. It just doesn't make sense anymore.
Once the championship happened, all bets are off.
Right. Like when I see the GIF of that extra point, and I don't even remember who it was during the game, but they both bonked helmets as they were trying to block that kick, and that's becoming a national joke on social media. Look, Cleveland Browns, blah blah blah.
But that's more about the Browns. I mean, I'll tell you what, that was bad. I mean, let's not save it. I mean, punt block, running into players.
Oh, that one was awful.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you.
We were going to talk about good things in the offense, and then I rolled down Baker Mayfield and his bad things, and then the rest.
I'll tell you the truth. Those two Browns running at each other, they look like a couple jackasses. And it looks stupid. And I'm tired of looking stupid, Jared. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. When you watch that replay, it's like, come on. Like, God damn it. And then the next and then like 3 drives later, that punt block was so bad. It was so bad. I saw 2 punt blocks against my teams, Northwestern and Notre Dame, and then this one. And it
was a complete lack of blocking. A complete
shot. Yeah. This special teams is so far out of orbit bad. I can't get over it. And then, of course...
We only go for 2 now, too, because of it.
Oh, I don't like any of that. You can't go for 2 when you can barely score, but, whatever. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to see... I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. I've watched too much of this crap from the Browns over the years. You're starting to go down that road, and the road is you're going to start seeing weird stuff. You know why? Greg Williams didn't come back. What do you care? You're not going to see these guys. You're going to start. And by the way, that might be a benefit at times. By the way, 70-70 right now, Cavs Magic. But you might see sometimes, too, where it's just going to drive.
You said 70-70?
79-70? I can't read that.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Oh, Cavs. Look at
Cavs are pulling away right now.
Chetty Osmonds must be playing well because they're up 9. But I'll tell you, I mean, of course, the night we're doing this, they would be playing well. But I'll tell you, the thing is about the Cavs, the Browns, these special teams are a joke. They're a joke. Running into each other, the block punts, it's enough. Jared, it's enough. And And then, of course, it's the one game the kicker makes. Joseph makes a 51 yard.
What the hell was that?
You can't make it up.
Good job, you effing kicker.
Saw that a lot.
That's the only Todd Haley.
and it is funny. It is funny. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. The thing is that I just cannot get over with the Browns is we've seen this act so many times. You're going to see things that are going to drive you crazy. And that's why, these wins are precious wins.
Well, I honestly, I love the play. Man, Nick Chubb's legs don't quit. They might by the end of this season, but I really was happy with the way he ran.
You took what I was going to say. I like Chubb a lot, too. I really do.
Yeah, it would have been nice to not have to run him like this, though.
Yeah,
if we had Carlos Hyde back there, too. And then the other thing is, man, I am so finally happy that Duke Johnson is this is what they should be doing. This is what Baker needs is a guy like Duke.
Well, okay, let's get to the positives. Chubb played well.
Yep.
Mayfield played well. He had some off throws, but they played well.
Yep.
Duke Johnson's back. I thought it's weird to me. I thought Landry played good. I didn't think he played a bad game. I think sometimes people are respecting too much now. I kind of know who Landry is. He's a great 2. He's a great slot. What do you want to say?
Yeah.
He played a good game. He didn't do anything wrong. I don't know.
No, and you know what? I got to be. Here's the other thing about Duke. Let me jump on this one. He was targeted 9 times. He caught the ball all 9 times. Andy.
No,
all 9 times. He didn't have one drop.
By the way, he's an All-Pro at that position. I mean that. I'm not just throwing it out there. He's not first team All-Pro, but he's second or third team All-Pro as a slot third coming out of the backfield. He really is. I mean, he's very good at
Callaway had a couple of bad drops, but he had a couple of nice catches. And David Njoku had a hell of a catch and looked a lot better this game, I think, too.
Njoku, Callaway, Higgins, Perryman, they all played better. It's not good enough.
No, because you know what? We didn't run. I mean, did we run the ball enough? I mean, Baker threw 42 times.
He had no choice.
Right. Not when you're playing from behind like that.
Choice. Again, the thing is that occurred to me throughout the games. Like, I like Duke Johnson. We all knew that. I do like Landry. I see that. I kind of see the Nick Chubb thing for sure. I think he's going to be a very good running back for this team. Okay. But I don't see too much else still. Like, Perryman, all right. Guy off the street, he probably won't be here next year. Higgins, 1 game back. Okay, let's see what happens.
You don't think that Perryman might be have some improved use over the next 7 games? I mean, he looked decent coming out of the backfield on that one reverse, and then
he had some legs. He
caught the ball.
He did. As the game continued, he got tired, but that's understandable as he hasn't played all year.
Yeah.
So, okay, again, let's see what happens, right? The Callaway, David Njoku thing, Callaway, you got to bring him back, see what happens. He is the only thing about Callaway I'm already observing. He's going to be one of those guys you're going to quickly forget if you get a stud coming in here because I don't know where Callaway goes. Okay,
right.
And I think Callaway needs to realize that. Like, this year's fine. Next year you're going to be challenged in camp. I would be very surprised if he doesn't get challenged in camp. David Njoku, same thing. I think David Njoku is going to get challenged in camp, and he should. Like those are 2 guys where I'm like, I think you're okay this year, obviously. I think next year, if proper drafting and free agency, you're going to get challenged for starting jobs. Big time.
Yeah. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine by me because
what teams are supposed to.
Yeah,
do.
Because you know what? Then maybe we'll have a little depth. And then we can rotate.
Or have people feel like that their jobs are on the line, and that only elevates.
Put a little fear of God in them.
That's right. And like I said, I just feel like that would be a good thing. So that's why with Njoku and with Callaway, I'm actually ready to say this. I'm going to reserve judgment, but those 2 do not have starting jobs guaranteed next year. I think Landry does.
Absolutely.
I think Chubb does. I think Duke Johnson does. If you want to call Duke a starter, because he's really a 3rd down back. But okay, whatever, right? I think those guys, those positions are filled. They're not going to change.
And let's not forget, Duke's only 25 years old, right? He's a young kid.
Player. In front of you, fast player. Fast kid. I just think it's one of those things with this team. Callaway and David Njoku better play better next year. I think they'll get properly challenged in camp. If they don't, I'm afraid to say that this is not going to cut it next year for this team to win big games.
Right, but can't you? Let me ask you this: at least they're not breaking your heart. Like,
I think Callaway,
at least they're not breaking your heart like Josh Gordon, and at least they're not, and at least they're not, and at least they're not as bad. At least they're not as bad. Well, you got to admit, Gordon was an experiment when we picked him up. We knew of his past, and we knew he was either going to be.
What was your favorite touchdown last night in the Patriots game? It was awful. Gordon's bothering me. I gotta be honest. Gordon's bothering me.
Well, and then here's the other issue. I'm not looking back at that. I'm not. You know it had to be done. I'm not looking back. And then here's the other issue. We're not looking at Corey Coleman on the field.
Well, that guy stinks.
Right? We're not dealing with Corey Coleman.
We all agree. Take your shoes. Goodbye.
We drafted these kids. We throw them out there, and a couple of them are at least keeping their heads above water. I'll take that at the moment.
I think Njoku and Callaway need to be very careful next year.
Sure.
I think they really do. I think Landry's good. He's going to be playing no matter what. Duke, Chubb, you're there. You're playing no matter what. I don't really see that. Like Higgins, you're going to be fighting for your job. Perryman, you'll be lucky to make the end of the year fighting for jobs. Like, that's the thing about the Browns that is still frustrating to me a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. Because you got to have some expectations. But again, you're just seeing players like Callaway and Njoku. It's like, Callaway and Njoku, now that I've seen enough football, are they on half these teams? I'll be honest with you, Jared, I don't know if they are.
Yeah, they might not be. I mean, you know what? I know who's not. Seth the Valve, Dontrell Hilliard, Damon Ratley. I don't know that.
Nice names. I'm sure they're nice gentlemen. Oh, they're terrible at football. I mean, they're just. Oh.
Ratley had a terrible drop. Hilliard had a terrible drop, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Ratley's another one. Ratley, Callaway, Higgins. We've seen all these guys come through.
Yeah,
here.
I know. They they blow out. They're gone.
I know.
Didn't work out.
Yeah. It's a good fourth. It's a good fifth. I'm just telling you. Now that I've seen enough in the league now, and we've seen enough games. And Njoku and Callaway are on half these teams. I'm being truthful.
But let's also say, let's go back to Baker real quick. 29 of 42 with 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 really bad interception that at the end of the day didn't mean anything, but it still looked terrible. But again, it's still. It's better. Let's talk about Kitchens calling that offense as it should have been being called from the beginning of this season.
Well, that's the positive of this situation, right? I just said there's going to be aggressiveness.
Right.
When guys know they're not going to be around, they're going to take chances. And what I mean by Freddie took a chance. He took a chance to say, hey, Baker, why don't you and I work together on something? Instead of being and by the way, there's nothing at times wrong with dictatorship in football. Sometimes you have to have that to get things done, okay? But in this case, Freddie's like, look, I mean, the guy's out. Haley's out. Hey, do you want to work together and try to do some fun things? I think that was a smart thing Freddie did. And that made a lot of sense. And you could tell in the field Mayfield was playing better. Again, wrong. I'm going to repeat this. Wrong week. I think the Browns played 24 other teams. There's 8. We mentioned 4 of them. There's another 8 teams. I don't know if they win. I'll tell you, the other 24 teams, I think the Browns might have won on Sunday. I really do.
No, absolutely. And I think that they're going to carry. They can't. All right, I'm gonna need some healthy some guys to get healthy on defense, and I don't think
only 4 or 5.
I'm calling this now. I think the Browns are gonna have a good Sunday taking on Atlanta next week.
All right, you did it again. This is great. I'm gonna call you the Thunder. You're stealing it. It's nice. I like it. That's what I love. No, buddy, you're making great points, and I'm teasing you in a good way.
I'm looking in the notes, and I don't see. Did you write that in the notes?
No, I thought about it.
If you don't put it in the show prep, I'm going to say it for myself.
No,
the rest is off limits. It's mine.
I was going to say this. Jared and I are on the same wavelength, because I was going to say, you know what? I like him against the Falcons right now.
Yes.
Because
Who are the Falcons? They don't even know who they are anymore.
Well, wait. All right. This is why I love this game, okay? I was in ESPN today working on some other projects and stuff, and there's a lot of people I used to work with who are big Falcons fans. There's 3 things I already like. 1, the Falcons think they're going to steamroll the Browns.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. That's what we need. 2, they are cocky, they are confident, and we're playing the same team that the Chiefs and the Falcons are very similar, except offense is not as explosive as the Chiefs, and their defense is actually worse. So you're playing a team with 2 less. Falcons defense is rated in the bottom 5 on defense. This is a bad defense, all right? So you have opportunities to win this game.
An offense with nothing to lose going up against a defense that is trash.
And hallelujah, we're playing a team that doesn't like to run the ball. Truthfully, you got the recipe to win this week. And I will put this again. This is the fail-safe game for the Browns. This is the other bad news, though. This is the only piece of bad news. If they don't beat the Falcons, it's really lean.
Yep.
Okay? So this is the fail-safe game. I really think you need to win this game, and I think people think you're probably crazy. The Falcons are in play. They're not as good as the Chiefs. They're playing this. This is where you do like the schedule now. Okay, you played the better team, and now you're going to play a team that's very similar, who does not like to run the ball as much.
Right.
Who is not as good as passing as the Chiefs are. And their defense is actually worse. You have an opportunity to win this game.
Yeah.
It's in play. All right. Well, that's for Friday.
Are we?
for going back real quickly to a couple things.
Yep.
The aggressive play comment kind of hit on. I don't like 2-point conversions. I do want to give you a chance, by the way. Did you like the 2-point conversions? I don't. I think you got to wait until your team gets better to start doing that stuff.
I feel all right. So I told you after the first one. Well, I guess that means they're going to have to. That's the only thing I come up with is they're not going to do it. They're going to do it every time now.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I don't know whether it was to give more opportunities to that offense and let Freddie Kitchens try to come up with something. I don't know if it was playing the numbers game because we all know that the odds are in favor of going for 2 every time, right? Isn't that the statistical that nobody wants to do it, even though numbers say you got to go for it every time and it's going to work out for you. And then number 3, is it just that they don't trust Greg Joseph? Is that really?
The special teams is a huge. Again, I can't believe I'm saying this. Going into next year, they're actually going to have to put some focus on special teams. Ridiculous. They really do. This is bad.
It's such an opportunity for the young guys to shine on special teams, and there's just no shining whatsoever.
Tristan Thompson is having a career game tonight against the Magic. He's playing unbelievable. And George Hill just made a wonderful hoop to the move. I really hope the Cavs win this game. They're tied 88-88. Tristan going to the line. Will he shoot him left-handed or right-handed, though? That's a question.
Tristan's got 17 points on 30 minutes tonight with 16 freaking rebounds. Good for him. Still a low assist game. Cedi Osman's already 40 minutes tonight. I can't. Sorry, Chetty. Anyways.
The nicest guy. I'll have an ice cream or a beer with the guy, but come on.
I know.
Have we seen enough? He's another example. If you play him 18, 20 minutes, I bet you I like him. He can't play 40 minutes a night. And Tristan misses both. Gosh darn it.
Of course he did.
All right. All right, back to this. I'll do play-by-play as we go along here. 5 minutes left to go, looks like, in the game. Okay, so we talked about the aggressiveness. I agree about that. Chubb, we all liked. Callaway, I made this. Yep. Look, I made the point, but I want to hammer it home. They have to start wondering who their playmakers are next year. Again, you have certain spots filled. We have not said that in past years. So you're checking some boxes. You have to get some more weapons on offense. Now, Harrison not playing did not help. Now, the offensive line on the left side didn't look terrible. The offensive line to me looked okay to good, so you take it. It's hard to evaluate because the Chiefs don't have much of a pass rush. And, again, here's the thing that did bother me about the offensive line. There's 2 times in the game, I remember both times, they were big sacks when the Chiefs did get sacks. They needed them. They got them. That did bother me. Other than that, I thought the O-line played better.
So let me bring this up, and you've got it in the notes, and we've talked about it off air. Does the guy who led the team in tackles, even though he did struggle, does he really deserve the piling on that he seems to be getting in social media? Jamie Collins is getting torn up, and
he really did.
I don't know where that's coming from, because I never finished watching that game going, you know what? You know what my biggest problem is? Jamie Collins. I didn't have that. He was not the eyesore that apparently he was to some other folks. Where's that coming from?
Well, so I think, so you and I talked about, so I'll give you the same answer. So I feel the same.
Nothing's changed in 20 minutes.
Nothing's changed 20 minutes. How does Tristan Thompson miss 2 free throws in that big spot? Unbelievable. All right. Jamie Collins, here's the thing that drives me crazy. I think sometimes in sports and in narratives, you need a scapegoat. And I feel like this is a little bit too scapegoatish to me.
Right.
If you want to say Jamie Collins isn't hustling, it's hard to argue because he isn't hustling. You're watching some of those and by the way, that's not right. And that should not be taken off as something.
No, gotcha.
But there are other players in this team I see doing the same things at times.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that drives me nuts about Jamie Collins, and I referenced it to you. The 50-yard touchdown run where he's trying to grab Hunt's wrist, that's ridiculous. That is so. It's poor technique. It's sloppy. It's half-assed. It's awful. That kind of stuff is bad, and that made that play into a touchdown because Jamie Collins was in front of him and he tried to grab his wrist. It was such bad technique. Fine. And by the way, he's not a good player. Okay, fine. These other plays people are bringing up, I feel like, okay, there's a 1-yard run specifically where Hunt scored.
The video that you'll see floating around on Twitter.
Twitter. Anybody can find it. If you go on Twitter, you can easily find it. Here's the thing about that play. Yes, he didn't. It's like I was telling you earlier. It reminds me of baseball when a guy hits the ball to second and he knows he's out. He didn't run it out. It's not the right thing to do. With that said, Jamie Collins, by the time he's there and he's still playing and he is still trying, Hunt's already in the goal line. I mean,
yeah, like what do you?
I mean, I agree. You got it. And again, he needs to finish the play, but he already scored. I mean, he was in. I don't know. I mean, I just think those kind of things, and it's funny. Someone who's writing about it on Cleveland.com kind of even said, well, but would that play would have mattered? It's like, well, when I start reading that kind of feels like you're piling on. And I don't think that's right. And I think that's being a little too harsh because when you watch that play, Collins, I thought he made the correct technique. I thought he pushed this guy back. But Hunt had such a lead and push was coming from the opposite end. I mean, Jamie Collins can't do – I mean, what can he do? I don't know. I felt that was kind of picking on him. Collins, and again, I don't want to praise him, though, either, because I see what people are saying. He's not hustling. Jared's not hustling, and I will say that's a problem for next year. This year you got to put up with it. You can't cut him now. You need him. You need healthy bodies, and he's a big, healthy body, so you need him. I mean, my gosh, you don't have Kirksey or Schobert probably on Sunday. I mean, you need him. We really, really need him to play. But again, I think it was too much piling on. The only one, and he looked bad, was that tackle. It wasn't tackle. The missed tackle on Hunt. That 50-yard run. That was bad.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Wow.
And he's had, and I will say, Jamie's had those moments, and that was another one. It wasn't good. But these other things I'm seeing, he's not hustling. And I think that's more of an indictment for next year. I think for this year, we've had this happen before. I thought Dwayne Bowe was worse. I guess that's what I compare it to, right? Like Dwayne Bowe was much worse than this.
Right.
What he did was so epic. It was so epic what he did. That guy was so what a quitter. Just did not play hard. Jamie Collins, I'm just seeing a guy who's frustrated. Who I'm not saying he's taking plays off, because that's not true, but he's not finishing, he's not hustling at times, and that's not good. And the only reason why it does bother me, Jared, I guess on the other end, you have a young team, you don't want to start doing those kind of things around guys like that. And that's a bad habit, and he is giving the team bad habits for young kids on that team. So I guess to my first burning question.
Let me counter that real quick then. I apologize.
Yeah.
We'll move on to that. So let's look on the other side of the ball. Another thing that let's look at the Chiefs real quickly, because I think this falls into the same category as the Jamie Collins stuff is. There's a lot of this pumping up of players that are mediocre that the Browns have gotten rid of. This Cam Irving stuff is silly to me. Cam Irving, sure, he's improved. He can stay on the field, but let's not forget he got bullied when he played for the Browns. He was pushed around. This is not a Browns issue, that we threw him away and Cam Irving is not
stunk. He's stunk.
Right. And he's a little bit better now, but he's still not some prolific.
Second. But the only reason why he's playing is because there's a guy's injured.
Exactly.
People are whatever. That one I throw away. Mitchell Schwartz, you can let anyone bother that. That's bad. Right. Mitchell Schwartz not playing for the Browns is bad. That's bad. That's a bad one. That was not handled right. But that's for another podcast 3 years ago. So look, the Cam Irving thing, I don't even get it. He didn't even play that. I don't know.
No, that's my point. But there are sports writers taking their time to write articles about how the Browns threw him away.
Jared, there's no storyline. What's the storyline? You want to write a positive article?
Chiefs did exactly what we knew was going to happen.
And that's the problem. That's why in this podcast we tell it like it is, right? And when I mean that, it's
because there's no reason to throw sprinkles all over everything and try to make it something it's not.
No, now, hey, when your kicker misses field goals and extra points against the Saints, that's a problem. Zane Gonzalez had to go.
Right.
We all beat that drum. That had to happen. But again, some of these other things I'm seeing, they're just silly. If people writing that Cam Irving, oh shit, all right, see ya.
Yeah, thanks.
The Jamie Collins one is. I don't agree with it, but I know why people are writing it. I guess that's my thing.
Gotcha.
I don't think some of it's fair because again, what I don't like is the toning of a scapegoat. I don't think he's the scapegoat.
No, I don't even know that there is a scapegoat.
Well, there was, and he got fired. He's
there.
Gone.
You go.
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Your scapegoat's gone. He's on First Take saying stupid things. Right?
Exactly.
Gone. He's gone. So That's the whole thing here. So is it Jamie? My first burning question is: Jamie Collins first isn't fair. It's not fair, but he's not hustling. It's understandable. The 50-yard hump play is not good. And next year, Jamie Collins is put on watch. He may not be on the team either next year. Probably won't be, and shouldn't be. You got to finish plays, and you got to play hard. And you got to try. Special teams, we kind of hit on it, so I don't want to make too much of this. You tell me, I'll say it quickly. They have to do some focusing on this position, on all aspects, punting, catching, receiving, all of it. It's all bad. I just can't get over each week how much of an eyesore it is, especially.
What is the problem?
It's like a disease. I can't get over it. I just can't.
And again, it's all aspects. All aspects.
Everything. It's like a violent river of lava. It's very bad. Cavs up 5 with 40 seconds left to go. Looks like in the game. Just unbelievable. This will make the Cavs section more fun tonight, though, Jared. So that'll be good. Let's see. Offensive players. We talked about that. Sorry, I messed up my timeline. I'm now reading things. Now my multitasking skills are going poorly. Yes. Okay.
It's getting late.
It is getting late. All right. So this is the big third question.
Yep.
And you can already feel it. We acknowledged it. This is not cat. We're not discovering anything on here, but Dorsey's now the man. Okay.
Fine by me, Andy.
Fine by me too. So here's the thing, and this is where for people who want stories, I think this is the storyline. Mm-hmm. Dorsey, starting on Monday of last week, so this is day 8 now, took over the Browns. How does it go going forward? He's got 1 loss. Let's see what happens in this Sunday. And these losses count.
Does he even care about this season? We've talked about that, Andy.
He better. You and I referenced it. I'm not saying it means bad things for 19, but as we all know, the more you lose and the more you look crappy,
right,
and the more you get blown out, the less you get back in 19 for mulligans. Buyer beware. You better care about these 7 games. You better.
Well,
you better care.
I mean, they can listen, Andy. They can win. I'm playing the schedule game. They might be able to beat the Bengals. They might be able to beat the Ravens. They might be able to beat the Broncos. I don't think they're going to be able to touch the Panthers at home.
Well,
I don't think they're going to beat the Texans.
But you're thinking that's 3 more wins. If they went 5-10-1, I'd be like, I might sign up for that.
No, exactly. I know.
That's not bad. I don't want to sign up for 2 13-1.
18 seconds left. Cavs up 100-97. Is that still what it is on your end? I'm tracking on.
So we'll pause right here. Magic to shot free throw. They have one more free throw. Larry Drew is getting excited. He's waving and motioning someone over to the bench. And I think that's Jameer Nelson here shooting a free throw.
Larry Drew a grumpy old man at this point?
Oh, it's not. It's DJ August. It's the guy who played for Texas. He's a good point guard. 90% shooter. He's going to make both here. So let's going to put him up 1. Let's see if the Cavs can actually win this game. Oh, boy, big shot. Big rebound. Tristan's had a great night, though.
Good.
He made it. So they're going to call timeout, get the ball at half court. All right. Well, this is a good game. All right, let's pause on the Browns. Who do you want handling the ball to shoot free throws and win the game right now on the Cavs?
Oh, boy.
I do. I want Korver.
Yeah, but who's on the floor right now? Because I'm not watching.
Osman, Thompson. Oh, Thompson's got to get out of there. Yeah, Hill's even saying get him the ball. Hill, boy, they're not going to.
Is Rodney Hood on the floor?
No. Let's see. Tristan, Rodney. But I'll tell you what, for a positive, this would be a nice win for the Cavs. Really, really would be a nice win for the Cavs. Could really use this win. That game Saturday, I would love nothing more than to throw those notes away. Because it wasn't going to be much, but gosh, I watched a little bit of it during the Alabama blowout and the Notre Dame Northwestern game.
I can't do it. Really, I have not been able to do it, and now I'm feeling bummed out that I didn't put this game on.
I know, it's a good game. All right, so as we wait here during timeout, my point is Dorsey winning 2 or 3 games is more valuable than what I think people think. Your thoughts? I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to help with momentum. It's gonna give them all the feeling that getting rid of Hugh was a big part of the problem, and possibly getting rid of Todd Haley was a part of the problem, especially if Freddie Kitchens can work with Baker to do something, decent over there. Which I can't be angry at this showing. I mean, I just can't. No. So Dorsey, let's do this too. Dorsey's proven himself. I mean, you were playing against the Dorsey team. Dorsey
is having a good year. My point is, oh my gosh, turnover, Magic with the ball, going in for the layup. He hits the ball out of bounds. There's a foul. Looks like it's going to be a foul call.
Stop it.
Oh boy, Chetty Osman. 13 seconds left. Let's see who turned over this ball. Let's see. That was pretty bad. J.R. Smith to my guy Kyle Korver, and Kyle did get stripped.
Stop.
Oh, no. Oh, they're going to lose this game.
Oh, God.
All right, let's see if they can make the first free throw here. All right, tie game. 13 seconds left, though. Let's see if the Cavs got a timeout. Oh, I think it's that same kid on a free throw. Now it's something different. Who we got here? Oh, this would be a bad loss. Oh, don't do this to the podcast. We need momentum. But I'll tell you, that's the thing. I mean, the Browns next year, the wins won't carry next year, Jared, but I believe losses do. Okay? And if you keep losing, I think it carries. Don't keep losing. It's not, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, the more you lose and the more the culture gets, it just rares. He missed it. Tie game, timeout. Cavs have a chance to win. They can't lose. Well, I shouldn't say that. They'll find a way, probably. Did I say that wrong? But let's see. Hopefully, gosh. Okay, well, the Korver thing didn't work. So we'll see what they come up with. All right, Final burning question, and we'll get to the Cavs. This will do a good order here. Will the Browns win? Well, I didn't type it in proper English here. Grammar is bad. Will the Browns win again this year, Jared?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they've got 2, maybe 3 more wins out of them. I mean, look, they play the Bengals twice, too. And I don't know. I feel like a division win. I feel like maybe they might get 2 division wins out of this. One out of the Bengals and take one against the Ravens.
Baltimore's dead man walking. Yeah, that team. I tell you, we'll get to them in a second. That's not good. I think the Browns will too, but I think this game's important. I really do. I hate saying that.
This Atlanta game?
It's an important game. I think if you lose that game, I think that loss could carry.
Yeah. I mean, it's a question of how you lose this game, and I feel like if they lose this game, it's going to be a bad-looking loss. It's gonna be like, like looking at them against Oakland. That's how I feel about it.
No, agreed. To the other interesting thing about the NFL, so that's the Browns. I mean, I think we touched upon anything. Look, The positives are the offense. You're establishing your 3 key positions on offense: quarterback, running back, wide receiver in Landry. Is not your one, but he's a good slot, right? And then you also have a good third down back. So you've got some establishments there, and I think the Browns did make some check boxes against a team that's very good.
Yeah, and if you're in a PPR league, man, starting Duke Johnson's going to look good for the rest of this season. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'd pick him up.
I was glad to have him out there.
Cavs got their shot blocked. They're going to have 1 second here left. Looks like he'll try to make a jumper or layup here in the lane. Let's see. He had a pick and roll situation, just didn't quite pick or roll, and got a shot blocked. So he's trying to go for a layup. Ball does go out of bounds, though, so the Cavs are going to have a chance for 1 shot here. If I were the Cavs, I would get Korver the ball.
How much time's left on the clock?
About 5:10. So let's see, second and a half. Yeah, second and a half, something like that. So you got 1 shot.
Yeah, he's got.
Can't lose it. Can't lose it. So I think those are the things. The Jamie Collins thing, I think we hammered enough. So I'm not going to sure how much we want to go back on that.
No.
Again, I just think for this team though, the only thing I'm observing, and I do like Dorsey. These things now are on Dorsey's though. Right?
Sure.
No more Gio. So we are not. Everything's on Dorsey. Vegas took huge hits. I thought this was an interesting story.
I saw the article pop up today when I was on my way to school, but I didn't get a chance to read anything.
Horrible. One of the worst Sundays they've ever had. By the way, one of them was KC. A lot of people betting KC and won. A lot of people took Pittsburgh. Yours truly also took Pittsburgh. That also killed them. Another Vikings were another one that killed them. It's interesting. This year in Vegas, they've been mentioning a lot of crazy numbers, exaggerated up and down scales. But they said this past Sunday was one of the worst they've ever had.
Do you think it has something to do with the way that the penalties are being called, the way that offenses are able to move the ball a little bit easier and go to the middle of the field and all that goodness has something to do with throwing off Vegas on them coming up with these numbers?
I'll tell you the only thing I'm noticing, there's a lot more blowouts this year. The games earlier were close. I'm seeing a lot more blowouts right now. And when you have blowouts, those do throw things into a pendulum, meaning maybe you have a vibe one way or the other how things are going to go. The other thing, too, which is not good for the NFL, but I actually think helps the gamblers out there, it's being a little bit more predictable. Like, I didn't think it was that hard to see that the Pats were going to beat the Packers. Packers are trading away players left and right. They went from L.A. to New England to play a game on a Sunday night. I mean, come on. It's a tough trip against a team that's a lame duck coach. Makes a lot of sense, right? Checks a lot of boxes. I just think this year you're seeing that. With that said, what I do like with the NFL is the competition in the playoffs will be must-watch. I think like I said, I think the Saints, Rams, Pats, Chiefs are all super elite. And that's rare. Usually you only get 1 or 1.5, right? This year I think you got 4. It's great. It's great for the sport when it comes to the playoffs. The Steelers win again. Baltimore kind of hit on. I think you're starting to see the mass exodus here in Baltimore. I think Harbaugh, they've already kind of said, boy, they gave the ball to the Magic, huh? They didn't think that was off of. Boy, let's see if they're going to make it here, Jared. They're going to give the ball. Magic are throwing it in. Let's see. There's the inbounds pass. He shoots, and it's good. And that will do it from Orlando.
Wait a minute. Cavs didn't have the ball?
Nope. Magic, they flipped it around. They decided the ball went off hill, and Cavs lose again.
Oh, goodness. Orlando scored 12 points in the third and then 32 in the fourth to win that game.
That was awful. How does George Hill take your shot to win the game? Unbelievable. Well, I mean, I guess you're looking at Chetty Osman.
How does Chetty Osman play 43 minutes?
I don't know.
He had 10 rebounds.
It's not that good. Oh, God, this team. Oh. Thank God they beat the Hawks. All right, listen.
19, 20, 20. I mean, 20 assists. At least they move the ball a little bit.
You know what? I'll save this for the end. I'll save Josh Gordon for the end. Let's go to the Cavs.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
We're talking about them. I'm going to say this to the end. I will bring up Josh Gordon at the very end of the show. I will not forget. Okay, so the Cavs. All right, so you just heard the latest there tonight. They lost to Orlando. Their next game's in Kansas City. Sorry. It's at home against Oklahoma City. See, I was speaking too fast there. Here's the one thing that I will bring about the Cavs, and we're kind of alluding to it. Chetty Osman's not a bad player if he only plays 18 minutes. This 42 minutes, it's frightening. Can't play this many minutes.
We're going to complain about it every week, Andy. It's not changing.
No, I'll bring it up every week. They can't. Well, I'm going to bring it up every week. that way, when he's not playing 42 minutes, I'm like, I told you. I will also say tonight, and you kind of saw it here, and I was actually going to reference this exact point. Sexton, I think, is going to be a good player, but he's not ready for this NBA right now. Like, he's a good guy.
Bad rumors going around about him not knowing what the hell he's doing out on the floor.
Yeah, he had a bad game against the Hornets. I was going to reference that too. I don't know what he did tonight. He did not play well against the Hornets. It was glaringly obvious. He did not play well. Didn't really see him out in the court tonight, to be fair, so I don't know. The only thing I will say, though, is the Cavs guard play is just weak. It got exposed against the Hornets, and actually got exposed here tonight against the Magic. Hill couldn't make the shot. He ends up not only not making the shot, turning over the ball. Korver getting the inbounds pass. Turnover. Geez, Jared, can't make those kind of plays. And I'll tell you, the Charlotte Hornets cut up the Cavs guards. And by the way, so the Magic guards aren't that good, and they won the game. Guard play for the Cavs right now is down. And I do like Sexton, but I was going to mention he did not play well at all on Saturday. Really played poorly.
Let's talk about the real drama. What the hell's going on with Larry Drew and his contract? I don't get this, and
I think it's now gone. See, I think it's flipped. And I think this is where Larry's got to be careful, and I mean this, because I don't really have a side here. But I truthfully don't. I actually understand both sides, because a longer extension, and the Cavs are saying, well, we're not going to sign any longer extension if you're only going to be here for a short time. The longer this goes, the better it goes for the Cavs, because when you keep losing like this, you're losing your leverage, and he needs to be careful of that. You need at some point sign. By the way, the Cavs gave up 11 plus in the fourth. Boy, you can feel every point in this podcast. Mm-hmm. Sexton, by the way, 5 points tonight, two out of 6. Boy, he's had back-to-back bad games. He didn't. I didn't see him in this game as much, but boy, he did not. Jared, it was eye-opening how bad he played against the Hornets. But again, it's only one game. It's only 2 games. So, whatever. It's a rookie. And again, he didn't play well, too, against the Hawks a couple weeks ago. 70
games left.
That's my point.
Give me some
but again, back to Drew. As long as it continues, Jared, it gets worse for him. He's losing his leverage. If you keep losing, you can't go table back. Well, I need money. It's like, well, you're losing.
It feels disarray-ish. It feels like I'm making up words.
Oh, disarray-ish?
It feels
it is disarray. Like, we're being positive about the Browns.
That's what I mean. This feels like the Browns.
Well, I can't believe I'm saying this is worse than the Browns. Cavs are bad. See, the Browns, there's hope. What are you looking forward to in the 1920 season, Jared?
Oh, but listen. This is what I'm saying. The Browns do have hope. Finally, we've been waiting for them to have hope for a long time. The Browns used to feel like this. It used to feel like this. The front office issues, the people holding out, players on the court not knowing what the hell they're doing. I don't. It makes me sick at my stomach. I really thought it was going to be. Is it easier? Let me ask you this, Andy. Is it easier to know that to swallow the pill of the Cavs are this bad like this because LeBron isn't having the success that he would want in LA? Does that? I thought about this last night, and I wondered if that has a little bit of easing pain.
I'm very different. No, I am not into the Lakers stuff as much as other people are. I mean, I'll be looking for it, but I'm just as much interested in some of the other things. I don't know. I'm more interested in the Cavs because I'm too much of a Cavs fan. Yeah. I found myself very wrapped up into the Miami Heat thing. Lakers, I mean, all right, they lost. I don't
know. I mean, the Raptors got to love the fact that they beat the crap out of the Lakers yesterday, 121 to 107. I know.
Raptors are good.
Yeah, and they like to take that revenge out on LeBron. So.
They do. I mean, look, the Lakers are a mess. I mean, you could actually, it goes back to that too, and that kind of probably proved itself last night. I mean, Lakers don't have great guards either. I mean, Rajon Rondo, Lance Stevenson, and boy, I liked him out of college. Lonzo Ball's not playing well.
I got it, Andy. It's just honestly, we talked about it a lot in the time that LeBron came back, that this wasn't going to last forever, and to really appreciate it, appreciate the fact that you were watching quality basketball, and I genuinely miss it. It is now making me so sad. It really is.
That's a different question. I do miss it. Now, here's something else I miss. I am appreciating Kevin Love, and I'm not saying he's great, but could you imagine we have Kevin Love right now on this team? I think you might have 2 wins, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you're losing things like this. I'll tell you the other thing that's eye-opening. I actually like Larry Nance Jr. I like Colin Sexton, but when your team's bad, they stand out in negative ways.
Yeah.
And I like these guys. I do. I like both players. And this whole Chetty Osman experience, I'm just not in that experience. Here's a stat that sums it up for me about Chetty Osman. 1 for 9 on threes. I mean, how many threes?
Goodness, why is he chucking up 9?
9 threes. Well, other thing, too, the Cavs are definitely leaking oil like the Indians used to back in the 80s and 90s, early 90s before they got good. Ugh. One night it's this, one night's that, right? I'll talk about this more. When you're a really bad team, one day it's that, right? In this game, they rebounded well. In the last game, they got out-rebounded by 23 rebounds against the Hornets. Ugh. 23. Not good. So, anyways, that's the Cavs wrap-up. It's probably a pretty
yeah, Kevin's out for a month and a half after surgery here.
6 weeks.
Yep.
6 weeks. So, I mean, look, we'll continue on. Boylan hits the Cavs. There's a lot, for how bad.
Yeah, that age discrimination.
Yeah, that's a weird lawsuit, too. I don't really know how to read into that. The whole thing is here to look. The Cavs are going to be on this train. Lottery balls are coming your way. Be excited. These losses are tough, though. I mean, I don't want to be as animated on a podcast. That's a terrible loss. Terrible loss. And, again, George Hill can't be doing that late in the game. And Korver getting stripped. I love you. That was bad. Bad. So back-to-back bad plays again. Bad turnovers from the Cavs on a bad team.
Playing to not lose.
Yes. All right. So we did all the Cleveland teams. Let's go real quickly to college football. This college football was a build-up. I thought it kind of got deflated. These games that are supposed to be great and good, just kind of. I mean, we can go all over the map here.
Alabama is the team. Let's say it.
That's the anchor. Okay, woo! We'll get there. Let's get there. Look, I'm going to talk about my team first. Notre Dame did exactly what I thought was going to happen against Northwestern. Here comes the pesky Wildcats. They block a punt. Next thing you know, it's a 4-point game. Keys in this game were very simple. Irish couldn't run the ball in the first half. Really couldn't run the ball until the fourth quarter. And Northwestern, as I mentioned, they held the ball forever in the second quarter. I think the Irish had the ball for a total of 2 minutes in the second quarter. The rest of the 13 minutes, it was crazy. The Wildcats, how they do that, I don't understand. But they do it. They control the clock. Ian Book did not play a good first half. And guess what? In typical what I've seen from this kid, Book played a great second half, really led them back. Claypool and Boykin really had big second halves for the Irish. It's a gutty win. It's not LSU, but that's a win. And the rain and the cold of Northwestern and Chicago, Evanston, wherever it is, good win for the Irish. A gut check game. Again, Wildcats are weird. It was exactly how I thought they would play out. They cover the spread. It was 10.5. They only won by 10. It's everything you thought Northwestern would be, in my opinion. Notre Dame survives and they move on. Next week's Florida State. This is not the same. This is not our mom and dad Florida State, Jared. That is a down team. So the Irish survive, and again, big things were Ian Book. I loved how he played second half. And by the way, the Irish defense played really well in this game. They did a nice job. They actually really hampered Northwestern. If it wasn't for a couple turnovers and the block punt, I think this game would have been a lot worse. But again, Northwestern seems to do that. They get fumbles and turnovers. By the way, Northwestern is because of my Boilermakers, they are in track to go to play the winner of the Ohio State-Michigan game for the championship. Just saying. Northwestern's there. Can you imagine Northwestern, Michigan for the Big Ten championship?
Yeah, I can at this point.
Okay.
Ohio State football.
Let's talk about your Buckeyes.
Yeah, let's.
Because I thought this was the most interesting game, if I'm being honest. This is the game this is interesting. Anyways.
This one tells me, listen, nothing stands out to me more than the fact that defense is legitimately awful. And a big part of what saved their asses is the fact that they somehow discovered a running game.
I was going to mention that.
Yes, I'm telling you right now, you're talking about when this is an offense, Nebraska that is, where you've got Adrian Martinez going 22 of 33 for 266 yards.
Look good.
They ran the ball a lot.
Huskers are improved.
And somehow, I mean, who runs the ball a lot against the Buckeyes defense? You can this year.
No, Nebraska, Minnesota. You don't want me to know. Okay, but look, I mean, here's the thing. All those things are true. Here's the two positives, two negatives.
Yeah.
You're running each one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's all I was going to hammer on.
Okay, no, I got one more. That was a good win because I thought Nebraska played well and Ohio State won the game. I actually thought Nebraska played pretty well. And Ohio State just gutted it out, figured it out, and they got a win. The negatives, there's 3. Haskins played his first bad game. I thought Haskins played bad. I just didn't think he
passing the ball. It was a rough 250-yard game.
He had I don't know if it's rust from a bye week, but that was the first time all year I was like, man, he does not look good. So Haskins was one. The turnovers, 6 fumbles, 2 lost, 1 interception, a total of 3 turnovers, but 6 fumbles, Jared.
Was that Weber with all the fumbles, though? That wasn't Dobbins, right?
I don't know. I got to look back. I just wrote down the stat.
I'm almost positive Mike Weber had 2 of those. I don't remember if he had the third.
Well, they only lost 2. Remember, 2 turnovers, but 6 times the ball's on the carpet. 6. That's a lot.
Was it 6 times total?
Yeah, 6 times total. Again, they only lost 2 of the fumbles, right?
Andy, there were times where I had to walk away from that game.
You were texting me. I don't blame you. Haskins lost 1. KJ Hill. I remember KJ Hill lost 1, and Mike Weber lost 2, but he recovered them both times. But again, like those are things that you hit on the defense. I am to the point now of waving the white flag. I think the defense is what it is now. You had a bye week, didn't get fixed. And again, Nebraska's improved, but they're not that good.
No,
but they will be next year. I'll tell you the truth. I think Nebraska's going to be tough next year. I like the way they played in that game. That's the only reason why I don't put a big negative over it. Because I kept saying, God, Nebraska's really improved.
See,
like they're playing scrappy.
This is going to be a struggle going into next week and taking on a Michigan State team at home. I don't know.
Tough game.
How this is going to go. I don't. I think that
tough game. Tough game. Well, give us a good week to think about it because I agree with you. Tough game is, again, I thought The only thing, the Haskins thing, whatever. The defense, you're just going to have to figure ways around it. But you cannot put the ball on the carpet 6 times and lose it twice. I mean, it's a lot of times putting the ball on the carpet.
Absolutely.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And at home, off a bye week. I mean, that's not good. All right, around CFB, I just thought everything in the world where Michigan, early in the year, people were like, John Harbaugh stinks. What has he been doing? He's been running up and down the field. And they pound Penn State. Michigan is going to probably be ranked 4th next week in the playoff. Louisville, it's nice for them to get a cup of coffee. Hopefully they maybe, got some tiger tails. They lost 77. They gave up 77 points. Louisville. Where has Louisville gone? West Virginia, the wild finish. I didn't really watch much of it, but kudos to those guys at West Virginia. That was a great gutty win. And another bad loss for Tom Herman. Just quickly, as I'll comment on first, Tom's had some bad losses already at Austin. It's another one. Bad loss. Feels like he's had more bad losses than good wins already, right? Do you agree?
Probably.
I mean, do you think that's unfair? Because I think that's another one. It's like, God, another bad loss for Tom Herman.
Well,
I don't know. I was expecting more from Texas, and I'm just not seeing it yet. What do you think?
Listen, how long have we been waiting for Texas to kind of be the Colt McCoy since Colt McCoy, right? It's been that long, hasn't it?
But this is the magical Tom Herman. I mean, they're still losing games. I don't know. I think people need to keep their eye on Texas. That is not turned around at all. All right, so we saved the Punch Bowl for last. Look, there are sometimes sports where you just tip your cap, right? You need to tip your cap.
That's the easiest way to put it, man.
I mean, look, I brought it out here as I actually have one. Where is it? It's right here. I'll do this one. You just kind of tip your cap.
That's a nice cap, by the way.
That's a nice cap. What they did, I thought LSU was going to be in that game. I didn't think LSU played horribly. They just looked tentative and scared. Look, the only thing is Tua's hurt. Can Tua stay healthy? Outside of that, this is a runaway train. This is middle of the 2000s with Tebow in Florida in 2008. This is as good as I saw. I'm trying to think of the other great teams I really saw. Texas in 05 when they beat USC. The 04 USC team, Jared, this Alabama team, this is the first one with Saban. They look unbeaten. Like, they're as good as those teams.
Andy, they had like 500 yards of offense against the 9th-ranked team, a 9th-ranked LSU. On the road. And by the way, I think LSU's really good. I just was blown away. Look, they play Mississippi State at home. They play Auburn and they play Georgia. Those are 3 tough games. And you throw in a Citadel for just because they need, blanks and giggles. And by the way, if they complain about ticket sales in that game, I'm going to laugh. That's exactly what you deserve. So I don't want to hear about that. Still is one of the dumbest. What is he?
If you put the Citadel the week before the Iron Bowl, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But Alabama, with that said, they are a magical, magical team. They will be playing Georgia because Georgia beat Kentucky. Really, Kentucky finally hit the wall. But, again, I'm not naive. Mississippi State, it's going to be really hard. I give them a 2% chance. 2%. Tua gets hurt, they can win that game. Auburn, it's Auburn, so it's 10%. Georgia goes up to 20, but, Jared, those are very high rates, in my opinion. I think Alabama's going to win it all.
Absolutely.
I really do.
I can't.
I think it's getting hard to even say Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan. I love the Irish.
They're a machine.
They really are. They are machine-like and, again, suffocating. It is suffocating to watch them play. It'll be interesting to see. The playoff rankings come out. I think it's a chalk walk. Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan. Maybe Georgia, Michigan flip. But even that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter because there's games to play. But I think it's shaping up where it's going to be a boring playoff schedule because we know about Bama. So enjoy it. I mean, they're outstanding, but my gosh, they are.
Oh yeah, the Alabama is easily the one seed, and that 2, 3, and 4 is like who
cares?
They're all fighting for it, and it doesn't even matter.
No.
Honestly, I
love.
Mark my words. If this doesn't age well, it'll be because of some sort of freak thing.
Again, Tua's hurt.
Right.
That's the only thing I got. And their backup, and I forget his name, the kid who played last year up until the final game, second half, he's also hurt. That's the only thing I got. And those are real injuries. So, outside of that, though, I think that's all you got.
Cleveland Indians.
Wrapping it up, I looked everywhere, Jared. The only thing I saw is Brandon Guyer officially got released from the Indians, so he's no longer going to be on the team next year. Brantley did turn to a free agent for the Indians. I looked up and down. I did not see anything really more coming out outside of that Buster Only article. There's a lot of people, by the way, tonight it got announced that,
Kluber's on for the side, yeah.
Young, so
that surprised me.
I gotta be honest with you. I think it's gonna be hard for the Indians to trade Kluber. I know we're late, so we shouldn't be talking about too much, but maybe that's something we'll do on Friday. I think it's going to be really hard trading Corey Kluber.
Well, let me go back and ask you this: with Michael Brantley, we're talking $17 million on that contract, right? For the Indians, if they would have picked that up, correct?
Something like that, yeah.
I think it was $17 million. What do you think Michael Brantley is actually going to command as a free agent, considering he's injury prone? Were his numbers this season enough to get him money elsewhere? Is that maybe one of did the Indians take a risk?
Talking about him. The Yankees are talking about him a lot.
Well,
the only thing is someone like
they're talking about Bryce Harper too.
I know. I don't think Bryce is going to New York, but I can see Brantley playing in New York because Brantley's a very different hitter from what they have, and that's where his price point goes up. Is if that's true, and that makes a lot of sense because they could use a pure hitter like Brantley.
Oh, the Yankees really want to compete with the Red Sox,
and they should.
Yeah,
they're there. And by the way, so should the Indians. I think it's too late to start going into that tonight, but I'll just say this. The Indians have a whole bunch of rumors out there. As we get closer and,
right.
As Bama keeps winning and, everything else, we'll have more time to talk about the Indians, but it is something to keep your eye on. I love college basketball, so I got to say it starts up tomorrow night. I can't wait. My Boilermakers play Fairfield. No one will be watching except for me and my dad and my brothers, but we'll be all there watching every second of it. Michigan State, KU, Kentucky, Duke. Ohio State plays Cincinnati on Wednesday in Cincy against the Bearcats on ESPN2, 6 o'clock. All the big boys are there. You can choose what you want. Again, I know the whole thing's been about the FBI scandal, as it should. It's a terrible thing going on, but I think, there's a lot of great – I love college basketball, Jared. It's one of my big things that I know people don't get into as much, but it's one of my favorite regular season things. If you want something to watch this year, I think it should be mentioned. UVA is going to have an interesting year. I mean, they were the first one seed ever to not just lose, but they got blown out 16 to a 16 seed. It'll be interesting to see how UVA handles it this year.
Well,
and they're predicted to be in the top 5.
The reason it's the one and done I can't deal with.
I understand. And again,
it makes it so it just.
I will say this: there is a sleaziness.
I'm not entertained.
Vibe.
I don't like it.
There's a sleaziness vibe to college basketball that is not in college football. And I don't know if it's because of the scandals.
But it flies under the radar, though.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, all right, but...
Not anymore. It goes back to CCNY in the 50s. Basketball and college basketball had this, the Eagles with what was going on.
Your camera's floating on you, by the way, Andy. Sorry, I just...
No,
figured I'd give you the heads up to tilt your screen down. You're like a floating head. There we go.
I'm really tired.
I got you. No, I'm looking out for you. Last time I didn't say anything because I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's all right.
Thank you. It's been a long day, folks. All right, so look. What am I talking about? Playing for the mob, yeah. So you got Henry Hill. Look, I love college basketball. There's so many scandals I've come through college basketball that I understand that stench and aura because of the AAU, because of all the stuff that goes on with the NCAA and shoot contracts. There's a lot of aura that you don't see in college football that you do feel in college basketball.
Yeah, the pipeline is what's sleazy, right? The way
It's tainted. And I grew up in a family, my dad's side of the family is all from Indiana. So because of that, I'm a big college basketball fan. I think because of it. That's why I'm a big Purdue fan. But I understand why, Jared, you're saying what you're saying. Because it's not as clean. And there's moments where it's not as good. Unlike college football, I think college football is just as good as the NFL. I don't think that's the case in college basketball.
As a product on television? Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the college football games are a little longer, but outside that, they're pretty close.
Andy, there was a time where college basketball, in my mind, stood above the NBA for a good decade.
I think it'll get
now
back to
it could if it were the same college basketball at this point. But to me, the NBA is not fun to watch either at the moment for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah. Boy, J.R. Smith looks really sad. All right, so here's your college basketball preview again. Michigan State, Kansas, Kentucky, Duke. Ohio State plays Cincinnati. Purdue plays Fairfield. And there's all those Big Ten, all those top 10 teams. They all start playing each other tomorrow night. Okay, final question I have.
Yep.
Because it's bothering me, and they did the right thing, but I'm getting really annoyed by Josh Gordon in New England. I didn't think it was going to bother me.
I didn't see what he did. What did he do?
He's playing really well, buddy. It looks everything I can't stand. I gotta be honest with you. You mentioned LeBron. I'm living here hurts just.
Let me ask you this:
it bothers me. It bothers me.
Do you think if they would have gotten rid of Hugh sooner, there might have been a chance Gordon would still be around? I feel like Josh was taking advantage of Hugh's softness.
Look, yeah, I'm with you. I'll just look. At the end of the day, they did the right thing. Okay. It just didn't.
Why does it always have to be crapping on the Browns to be the right thing?
It just stings. It just stings. I gotta be honest with you. It stings because you could really use Josh Gordon, and I don't know what else to say. It's annoying, and I can't take it. And Chris Collinsworth, well, that is a move. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of the Pats. I like the old Patriots when they lose and they sucked.
Here's a guy.
Those are the fun Patriots. I don't like these Patriots. I don't like losing to the Magic. All right, my head hurts.
Don't be a Cleveland sports fan.
I'm just tired. I didn't think it was going to bother me. Josh Gordon's bothering me. I don't like it at all. And they're going to keep winning. Oh, it's just so annoying. They made a great draft pick. Just the whole Jared. Oh.
Let's also acknowledge the fact that their offense was able to keep up with the Chiefs.
I hate everything about it. I'll tell you this: I will be cheering so hard for Kansas City if they play in the AFC Championship game against the Pats. I will be cheering so hard.
I'm not investing any of my energy into cheering for the Chiefs because I've seen this one too many times.
This is not comparable. So don't do the scale thing here. What Gordon's doing, it's not even a tenth, but it is that 5 to 10%. It reminds me of LeBron in Miami. I just don't want to see Jared, I don't want to see it. And I'm glad Josh Gordon's healthy. But, the Patriots just made a wonderful trade. I got to be honest with you. I'm going to throw my computer if I hear more of those comments on Twitter or read them. I'm going to throw my computer across the room.
You're going to hear them more often in prime time, brother, because that's when the Patriots play, and because that's who the Patriots are, and they've been that for a long time. Sorry. Andy, it's not changing.
I know. I just hate it.
Tom Brady's got another 5 years in him.
Can we talk more about the Irish? They're really playing. They picked the wrong goddamn year with Alabama. Oh, it's just so difficult.
Hey, it's all right, Andy. The Cavs almost won tonight.
Oh. We're gonna give the ball to Hill to see if he can make a
horseshoes and hand grenades, whatever.
Chetty, shoot 10 3-pointers. You're not enough.
42 minutes. Yep.
They're gonna ride. I just can't.
Yep. Right. Yeah. Right. Who's the head coach, by the way? How long is he going to be there?
By the way, I will end on that note. If I were Larry Drew, I would sign that contract quick. You're losing money now. I'm telling you. The more you lose, the more you do not have leverage in that room.
All right. Every week it's starting to get exhausting. It's starting to get exhausting. It's starting to take a toll, Andy.
I'll be honest with you. It wouldn't have been so bad the Cavs would have won, but watching Corver and Hill just turn the ball over. And again, Josh Gordon, it's vomiting. I hate it. I just can't. I cannot. All right. Everybody have a great week. Falcons, I think, is in play. I really do. I think the Falcons are in play this week. I'm very excited about college basketball to distract me from what's been going on tonight. And I will say that for everything we just said, I do see hope with the Browns next year, and I think that's a good thing. I want to end on positive. I really do. I see some things with the Browns that I know they'll be better next year.
Yeah, I agree.
And God plays baby Jesus that Denzel Ward's healthy for Sunday. We could really use it against Julio Jones.
He's losing his mind. He's cracking up.
I mean, could you imagine we don't play the Falcons without Denzel Ward? Oh my gosh.
You good, Andy?
It's been a fun podcast. This is my favorite podcast, aside from the topics I've ever done on this podcast. It's been such a long work day. I got to get up early. But again, all right, so are we done? I think we're good. This is one of these, wrap it up.
What else are we going to do? All we're going to do is complain if we keep going.
I know. Okay, so Josh Gordon thinks vomiting. There's hope for the Browns. We like that. Greg Williams will be coach next year. You're going to hear these names: Harbaugh, McCarthy, the Campbells. The kid out of Oklahoma.
We're going to have to get into that at some point.
I think it's too early, but you're going to start hearing those names big time.
I'm going to tell you what, you don't get to turn around Iowa State and then all of a sudden think you're an NFL coach.
I like Matt Campbell. I'm one of you. I like Matt Campbell a lot.
Really?
Not just saying that. I think Matt Campbell's a really good coach. I do.
The word that I heard today, and I can't remember who it was.
I like him.
Lloyd? Who was it? The rumor is that the reason that people love him is because guys in those front offices like his management style, like how he works in the behind the scenes capacity, in the front office capacity, with the front office, with his management style. It's not how he runs the football team that's getting him the praise. It's that he's doing what he needs to do to win the praise of those in control, of those with the power, and that's where that love for him is.
Here's where I'll leave you. I think Matt Campbell does really well at Iowa State, and here's why. Name me 3 players on the Cyclones right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they're ranked. Matt Campbell.
I know.
Matt, I'm telling you.
And I'm not. And look, and maybe so. Then it's the combination. I mean, he's doing it on the field, but the off the field stuff is really what's endearing him. That's the word.
I think people need to get over. Okay, here's my comparison. Coughlin at Boston College really was not an overachieving coach. He had a big win against Notre Dame. And by the way, as Campbell did last year, Campbell went in with Iowa State and beat Baker Mayfield in Norman. That was a big win. Campbell's Cyclones did that, okay? I just compare it to that where you could just watch Coughlin and like, this guy can coach.
Wow.
I mean, he can coach. And I'm telling you, Campbell –
hey, but don't forget Bruce Arians said if he was going to coach, it'd be Cleveland. 66-year-old Bruce Arians wants to come back and coach the Browns.
I can't believe you brought him up. And I got to say it. I love Bruce. Nice guy.
Yeah.
I think he'd be better if he's on the side.
I like his choice in hats, too.
Wonderful. Love his sense of humor. He'd be great on the sidelines and away from the booth. Just saying. Just saying. The CBS mics, pretty bad. Gumbel, Trent Green, they were
rough at moments. I felt like I was relying on them to tell me about things that were going on in the game, and they were telling me like the complete opposite.
Greg Gumbel at 3 different times was saying wrong names. I mean, it's... Look, again,
That's why prep matters, Andy.
Being a television guy, I try to never do that, but it's like,
I know. You don't want to.
And at some point, you're like, is anybody ready to like yell in the truck? Because this is not going well. A lot of awkward pauses, stammering. Oh, jeez. It'd be good to see Coach on the sidelines. He's such a nice man. Just not meant for the booth. If I'm being truthful, not meant for the booth. You know what? Last thing, Bartolo Colon is coming back, folks. He's 45 years old. He's feeling spry. He's going to make one more attempt at pitching.
I didn't know that.
He just came out of my phone. I think it'd be cool to see him back in Cleveland. What's
he weigh nowadays?
Well, talking about someone who needs to lose weight, I will not comment, but it's not good. Yeah, it's not good. I love Bartolo Colon. Bartolo seems like a guy we could have on this podcast on a good time.
Yes, absolutely.
Like Bartolo a lot.
Let's do it.
Should we review? I think we reviewed enough for tonight. Have a great week, everybody. Remember, the Cavs play in Oklahoma. They play Oklahoma City and Cleveland on Wednesday, so we'll talk about that. College football games aren't as good next week, but we'll get into that stuff. I'll break down college basketball in 30 seconds and to give Jared a nap during the podcast.
Yep.
And then we will get into the Falcons-Browns. We both agree that Falcons are in play. And then we will count the minutes for Teddy Osmond going into the next podcast. It's been a really great weekend. I'm excited about the Irish. I am excited about the Irish. I'll leave on that positive, too. And, again, there's hope for the Browns. There really is. I think sometimes it gets lost in this. There's hope. There's some really good things in place. The Browns are going to be much better next year.
I'm going to go eat my late dinner. I got some beef stew waiting on me downstairs. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. And this is Cleveland and Beyond. Beef stew, everybody. And the Browns are looking promising. Take care. Have a great week. We're out. See you, Andy.
See you, buddy.
Hey, don't forget to follow Andy and Jared Cleveland and Beyond on Facebook at facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond and on Twitter at CLE and Beyond. That's at CLE and Beyond. On Twitter, you can also shoot us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing your comments.